No, when they opened for the Rolling Stones, one of the songs they would do was Proud Mary, which always gets the crowd into a loud froth and whatever. And the lead singer of Creedence Clearwater basically came out and said, "Thank you, Tina Turner, for doing our song. You not only did it better than we did it, but you've also made us very wealthy off you doing our song."
Yeah.
Which happens too, because when Whitney Houston covered "I Will Always Love You," what's funny though is she didn't want to do it because she's all, "What is boring song?
What is
this white lady?"
I know.
And then Kevin Costner was like, "Please do this song."
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Fine." And then someone else obviously rearranged it because that is obviously not the original arrangement.
Sure.
And Dolly Parton was like, "Yes, you may do my song.
And
you may do anything you like to my song. Sing my song." Because Dolly Parton, being the genius that she is, never sells the rights to her music. So she's back there gathering up the coins.
And she writes almost all her music.
She does.
Yeah.
And when Whitney Houston won whatever, a Grammy, I think, for that.
Okay.
And thanked Dolly Parton was like, "This is now your song."
Yeah.
Because you have made this song a whole different thing. A whole different vibe, a whole different everything.
Yeah.
And so when people come to her and they're like, "Wait, this is your song?" She's like, "Yes, bitch, I wrote it."
Yes, bitch.
Dolly, secretly being a drag queen, not secretly at all. That's how she really talks when she's out the camera.
Yeah,
she all sweet and light, but she'll, "Bitch, please." Was another thing about Dolly, while we're talking about that, is
speaking of favorites.
Well, at one point, Elvis wanted to do that song.
Really?
Yes. And Colonel Tom Parker told her, because that was his manager, that for Elvis to remake anyone's song or to do anyone else's song if they wrote, he had to own a portion of the royalties of the songwriting.
Yeah.
And Dolly was like, "Sorry about it.
Yeah.
I don't part with those. These are my babies.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're not going to sell half of a child.
I'm not going to sell half my baby to you." So he wouldn't record her song. And she was heartbroken at the time. But she also stood her ground.
Love that.
And thank God she did, because she made buku bucks off that song.
But not even that. It was better. Whitney Houston did it better than Elvis ever could have.
It's not like Elvis would have. It's not like Whitney still wouldn't have done it.
Right. No, but it would have still been better. It's better.
Agreed.
Let's just pretend.
But I just thought that was interesting. But also, speaking of Dolly, I want to talk about a remake that I think Dolly's perfect.
Agreed.
Agreed. Another song of hers that was remade that when I first heard it, I was like, I'm not sure, was Jolene, which now has been remade by everyone.
Yeah.
But the version I think that gets the most traction is by the White Stripes.
Okay.
Because it is completely different.
Okay.
And it's amazing. And one of the things that I have said to my husband a million times is, I have a rule about remakes. This is my own rule.
No, but I'm with you. I know what your rule is, and I'm a part of it.
You either do it better
or
different.
Yep.
And if you don't, then don't bother. Don't
What's the
be
point?
Weezer doing Africa.
Girl, it's the same song. It's if Toto, you play Toto by Africa, you play Weezer, Africa by Weezer. It's the same song. Literally the same song.
The only difference
there's
a musical interlude thing in the middle that they changed the music a teeny tiny bit. But why?
But who cares?
I think what happened was Weezer said, "You know what? Let's just do this the exact same. Let's make some money so we can afford to make our next album."
Yeah, right. And
they'll give it some airplay because people want to hear it.
I love Weezer,
and the kids don't know this song.
No, right? And I love Weezer. And what's funny is that Jason Derulo, who is a pop R&B rapper, he sampled the song Africa in one of his songs.
Okay.
And it's not better than Toto, but it's better than what Weezer did, and he just sampled part of it. And it sounds much cooler and different than what Weezer did. And again, I like Weezer a lot. I've always really liked Weezer. They're like silly white boys, right? I don't really care. They're not like one of my favorites, but I just think them doing...
They're cute.
They're cute. Them doing Africa, I was just like, you could have done this so differently, and you just sound just like Toto.
Right. And so for me... You don't get any points for that remake. Some remakes and here's going to be some controversy.
I'm ready. I probably agree with you, though.
Because I have 3 Prince songs.
Prince, okay.
I love Prince. Prince was, an amazing musician. And I think what maybe some people don't realize is Prince was beyond amazing guitarist. Because we think about him singing and being all sexy and adorable and 10 inches tall because he was really the teeniest little man. But 3 of his songs that I love by him.
Yeah.
But I have to say I love more by the remake.
Okay.
So, and if anybody's mad at me, I don't care. The first one is the one I think a lot of people don't even know was his, which was Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor.
Oh.
Because Sinead's the one who had the giant monster hit with it.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And...
Oh, Sinead.
And I knew that version first.
Okay, yeah.
So when I heard his, I was like, oh, yeah, that's good.
Right.
I like it. But I was already familiar with the Sinead version.
Mm-hmm. That's my God, the song Whitney Houston, Dolly Parton song we were just talking about. I knew the Whitney Houston one before I knew Dolly Parton. Okay. Mm-hmm, because of the time.
Yeah. The second one is Kiss.
Okay.
Which I knew the Prince version. I liked the Prince version. And then I heard the version by Tom Jones and the Art of Noise.
Okay.
And it's just very different and very cool.
Yeah.
And it's got... The Art of Noise was a band who did a lot of experimental kind of stuff. Okay. So it's got the sounds of like screeching tires and weird things kind of in it, but incorporated so it makes sense.
Sure.
And so I'm not going to say I like that one better. I like it as well.
Yeah.
But it's different enough that I like it for whole different reasons.
Yeah.
And the third one is the song When Doves Cry.
Okay.
Was remade by Ani DeFranco.
Oh, right.
And it's just beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I love both. Because the first one, was in his movie, which was Purple Rain in 1984. Yeah. And Purple Rain, amazing movie, amazing music, whatever. But something about the Ani DeFranco version to me is just beautiful and haunting and whatever. So I was like, kudos.
Yeah.
I mean, because remaking a classic, I think, is always tricky.
Right.
It's always like a big gamble because someone's going to go, oh no,
don't touch it.
You can't touch that.
Right, exactly.
And
like, I feel that way. I like covers a lot. It's so silly. I think covers are very interesting in how people do it. Often, again, I'm disappointed because I'm like, why would you even do it? One, but you didn't even do anything cool. It just sounds boring. But there is one that I used to listen to. I don't even remember where I heard it the first time, but it's Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, which I love the original so much. Yes. And I've heard it remade a bajillion times, right?
Oh, I have not.
Okay, it's beautiful, and a lot of like amateur singers do it on like YouTube, but it's beautiful and like people do it great. But there's this one that's kind of it's a little upbeat. And the beats are just different, and it's by someone named Dakota and Jonas Blue. And it's just like, I don't know, it does sound kind of like ethereal and kind of just like otherworldly. And I just thought it was so cool. And it's kind of dancey in a way, but just like haunting, like you were saying the Ani DeFranco song is. But I was just like shook by it because I knew the Tracy Chapman one. Yeah. And I was like, great, a dance version of it. But then I was like, oh no, it's like really effing cool. I really liked it. We'll listen to it after this.
I have to look into that. Yeah. Because I love that song. Right. I love that album. Tracy Chapman, I adore.
Agreed.
That album came out when I was actually in beauty school. So it came out the year you were born.
Oh my God.
And I love that entire album. Okay. And I love her, and she's amazing. And whatever, but still, I'll have to look at that.
One of the unnecessary... I feel this way about a lot of, like, musical theater. And this is hard because, obviously, actors can't continue to act in perpetuity. But when they were doing all that, like... What was it called? The live ones that were on TV on, like, a specific... They did, like, Grease and Rocky Horror or whatever.
Yeah. The Broadway Live.
Okay, some of them were fine. The Rocky Horror one, honestly, terrible. I wanted to jab shit in my ears, and I was like, why? Like, what the fuck was the point of this? And I was so disappointed, because
terrible.
Like you, I love Rocky Horror. I've been watching it my entire life, and know all the music to it, and so listening, and just like, I also love Laverne Cox, but why the fuck was she Dr. Frankenfurter? Do you know what I mean? Sense. No, I was just so, like, annoyed.
It took, actually, in my opinion, what was so groundbreaking and kind of mold breaking out of it. It took that out of it.
Yeah,
it's like you're a woman wearing,
women's clothing.
Like,
honestly, yeah.
I mean, yes, she's a trans woman.
Sure,
but she's a woman,
right?
And my thing is that movie to me is one of my treasured memories.
Yes.
It's an important part of my life, and people might think that sounds silly, but it is so important to my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a part of my development. It is a part of my youth. It is a part of my life.
It's what you showed me.
If you're going to remake it, it had better be spectacular.
Yep.
And it was not. No. It was terrible.
Terrible.
And I thought everybody in it was mediocre at best.
At best. And like...
Because I don't know how you compare when the original is still running in a theater.
Right.
And it has been for 40-something years.
Yeah, that's insane.
You know, it has been running in the theater since the late 70s.
Right. And it's iconic, right?
Yeah.
Like, iconic.
I'm sorry. Don't leave it alone.
Yeah, just
leave
don't touch
it alone.
Anymore. I know.
Leave it alone.
There's no point. Leave it. Yeah, leave it.
One of the other songs that I thought was funny ended up on almost everybody's worst song ever is MacArthur Park, the original version.
Really?
Well, because it's terrible.
Is it?
It is terrible. I mean, well, first of all, it's... the original version is a man singing.
Oh.
And it's Richard Harris, actually, the actor who played the original Dumbledore.
Interesting. I guess I didn't know that was the original as well.
Yeah. And
I don't know things, you guys.
And it's 25 minutes long, I swear to God. It is actually, I think it was 6 minutes. It was one of those songs that broke the radio barrier of a song has to be between 2.5 to 3 minutes.
Oh my god!
And this was one of the first ones that was like 6 minutes long.
Jesus Christ.
Which is 5 minutes too many.
Right.
And it's boring and it's stupid. And what's funny, and I know you know this story because we were talking about it one day. It's like, what the fuck is this song even about?
Right.
And we went on a little search on the interwebs to find out and found the website of the guy who wrote the song.
Right.
Who... His thing was, well, obviously, it's about lost love and a broken heart. Really? A green cake in the rain is about a broken heart? I'll never have that recipe again? Get a goddamn recipe book.
I know. I mean...
I have cookbooks all over the place. I'm sure I'll have that recipe again.
Bitch.
I mean, and why is your cake in the rain?
Yeah, at MacArthur Park? Why?
Yeah, why are you in a park with a green cake?
While it's raining.
And that just sounds like a recipe for disaster, and it sounds like you're stupid.
And is this MacArthur Park of Los Angeles? Because have you been to MacArthur Park? Right. MacArthur Park in Los Angeles, when I was there, and every time I went to it, around it, near it, I was like, grubby, like, this is not a place. That's not like a park. It's just like the hangout. That doesn't even look like nature any longer. You know what I mean? So what the fuck was... what was anyone doing in that park with a green cake? And what was in that cake to make it green? Like, I have questions.
I have so many questions.
Right.
But which will have to be answered after this break.
I know.
Well, I know that people would argue, but as terrible as the original version is, I love the Donna Summer version.
Yeah.
Love it. And
me too.
Because I am a hardcore disco stan,
I stan
it.
Yeah.
I like the entire long album version that is maybe, 6 or 7 hours long. I don't know how long it is. Because Donna Summer is the first one to ever be made into an extended play song.
Cool.
Okay? So, but her version of MacArthur Park is the entire song. It's just a little shorter, I think, than the original because it's at a disco beat.
Yeah.
So it is sung faster.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you get to the end faster. But I really love her version. But I loved her.
Yeah.
She could do no wrong, in my opinion. Everything she did is gold.
Yep.
God rest her soul.
Yeah.
You know, all those things. But, I don't...
Not a good one.
That is one of those songs that you're just like, what?
I also think that some things aren't, like... I'm going to go back to musical theater for a second.
Yes.
I'm just going to really expose my true colors right now. As you know, when I was in, like, middle school, the school that I went to, we did Into the Woods. And we did, like, Broadway Junior, right? Because you can't do the second act because it's it's too dark. Anyway,
well, then if you finish at the end of Act 1, it's all happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Girl,
it's Broadway Junior. That was the whole point.
Junior.
Yeah, that was the point. So you weren't scared.
The cow's back to life. The girl marries the prince.
Yeah, everything is dandy.
Rapunzel marries the guy. It's all good.
Right, exactly. And so I listened, we had listened to recordings of, like, younger people singing it. But I had, like, the original recording of the Broadway cast with, like, Bernadette Peters, right? And I remember we watched it together. That was the first time I'd ever watched the true version was with you, the real Broadway version. But anyway, because I had listened to the original cast recording so much, that when the movie came out, and I'm like, I know all these songs, it's great, it's a great movie, I do love the movie, everyone was fine. I was just kind of like, oh.